second.
Oh, I'm about to start something else.
What, are you going to sing? Okay, yeah.
No, I'm going to make a little. Hello and welcome to Rotary. Today is actually a birthday. I was asked to play today and found out that on November the 18th of 1928, Disney released the Steamboat Willie. And so they have declared that this is the birthday of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, and thus I have been playing nothing but Disney tunes all day long. And Frank, thank you. Well, you're going to get to participate here very shortly. Some of you are old enough to remember the Mickey Mouse Club. Some of you are probably not. But we're going to have some sing-along here very shortly and bring back some of your childhood memories. And I think there's going to be some words on the screen very soon. We're going to do two verses. One is traditional and one is a little bit special. So you'll have to play it, pay attention. Okay? Thank you. With Mitch's version.
Woo! All right. First of all, let's have one more hand for Terry DeWitt. Terry DeWitt, sure. Terry Rasco. DeWitt came up because he and I earlier were talking about this. His father was a Rotary member in DeWitt, bear with me, and he has been playing songs and music for Rotary Club since he was 16 years old. Yeah. He's only 18 and a half now, so that's been 2.5 years. And I appreciate that. As you know, we've been highlighting some members that are musically inclined, and we appreciate Terry doing that and creating his own lyrics to a second verse. That was a lot of fun. Thank you, Terry. We appreciate that. We also want to say thank you to our greeters today who helped bring a smiling face to every Rotary meeting. This week, we had Don Cole, Kim Kirkman, Tricia Bean, Rick Fleetwood, Kathy Brown also came in as some extra help there, and we appreciate that for your kind service. We want to welcome to the stage Jay Gadberry, who will lead us in the prayer, pledge, and four-way test, followed by Mandy Richardson, who's going to do some introductions for us. Brother Jay.
All right. Let's do the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will build goodwill and better friendships. Will be beneficial to all concerned.
And is it fun?
All right. Let us pray. Our Father, we thank you for our many blessings. We are so blessed. We pray for world peace and political peace. The world would be a better place if we loved and trusted each other. Bless and guide us in the way for us to benefit all concerned. And please, please don't forget the Razorbacks. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. Very nice. I'd like to welcome to the stage Program Chair Mandy Richardson, who today is also doing some introduction of guests. Mandy.
Thank you. Hey, y'all. All right, we have lots of friends with us today, so if you'll please stand with the member who brought you to today's meeting, we would appreciate that, and then we will give everyone a big round of applause. David Holzhauer is the guest of Barry Simon. Mark Fortune is here with Kelly Bass. Sheila Wald McKinnis, is here with Jennifer Ronell. Jessica Hall with a guest of Susan Blair. Kobe Goss, guest of Bobby McDaniel. Leanna Wall is here with Sonia Murphy. And Lucy Whiteside, guest of Rachel O'Neill. Can give our guests a big round of applause. And then we're also so lucky to have a few visiting Rotarians with us today. We have District Governor Michelle Oglesby from Sherwood with us, as well as Mason Ogilvy. And then Chris Dudley is with Rotaract of Little Rock. Thanks for being here, Chris.
Well, Daniel Fraser of Rotaract of Little Rock didn't sign in, but we're glad you're here. Oh, you did? She just skipped you. That's what she did. All right, no worries. We love our Rotaract here in Little Rock. In fact, we're meeting with them after the meeting today at the board meeting to talk about growth plans for Rotaract and ways that our club can be more supportive of engaging 20 and 30-somethings in the community. So we're excited that they're here and appreciate that. We have been in a beautiful season of growth in the Rotary Club of Little Rock. We've had about 50 new members join the club since July 1st, which is fantastic. We love those who are joining mission or those former members who have rejoined the mission. It's a beautiful thing. Today we have 3 new members to welcome to the Rotary Club of Little Rock. So coming to the stage is the membership chair, Miss Susan Blair. Give her a big round of applause.
Thank you, Mitch. It is an exciting day today with 3 new members. We're going to start with Justin George, and he is sponsored by President Mitch Bettis. Justin is a serial entrepreneur, founding and successfully operating multiple companies, the most recently being Apogee, an education technology company here in Little Rock. Justin launched Apogee in his spare bedroom in 2015, and when he sold the company earlier this year, they had grown to serving over 5,000 school districts in Arkansas and internationally. Justin serves on the UA Little Rock College of Business Advisory Council. He was named a Titan of Tech by Arkansas Money and Politics, was named one of Arkansas's most influential leaders by Arkansas Business Publishing Group, was recognized by Soiree's Men on a Mission, and was a Spark Star for the Museum of Discovery. Outside of work, he enjoys spending time with his twin daughters. He loves to read, travel, and of course is busy building his next business, House Care, a services and software company in the home services industry, and more to come on that later. Justin, it's a pleasure to welcome you to Club 99. And now we'd like to introduce Kelly Owen, and she's also sponsored by President Mitch Bettis and Kelly Bass. Kelly is the Director of Development at the Wolf Street Foundation, where she leads strategic fundraising and partnerships to expand access to recovery and mental health services across the state. She joined Wolf Street earlier this year. Kelly's career includes 10 years in nonprofit fundraising, program development, and volunteer management. She's a former AmeriCorps National Service member and Volunteers in Service to America, VISTA member. Kelly majored in English, language, and literature and earned a certificate in volunteer management at UA Little Rock. She's a Clinton School graduate with a master's in public service, and she attended semesters abroad at the University of London and the University of Oxford. Kelly is a wellness advocate dedicated to building healthier, more resilient communities. She's a trauma-informed yoga instructor teaching at the Pulaski County Jail, and she's been active in the Arkansas Prison Yoga Project. She's a member of the Arkansas chapter of the Association for Fundraising Professionals, where she served on the board and as treasurer. And she spent 2 years as a volunteer probation officer for the Faulkner County Juvenile Court. When she's not volunteering, teaching, and fundraising for Wolf Street, she finds joy in cooking, practicing yoga, exploring estate sales and thrift stores, and paddleboarding. She and her husband love to travel, so they're planning a trip, upcoming trips to Greece and Costa Rica. Kelly, we're very happy to welcome you as a new member to Club 99. Matt Vandiver is sponsored by T. Martin Davis. Matt is Chief Executive Officer at JWB Company, managing the company's commercial, residential, and agricultural real estate. He's a native of Little Rock with fond memories of working summers at his grandfather's farms. He attended Centenary College in Louisiana, where he earned degrees in political science and environmental studies, and he had the opportunity to intern for Senator Dale Bumpers. He's a graduate of the Bowen School of Law and served as president of the Environmental Society there. Upon graduation, he joined the law firm of Chisenhall, Nestrid, and Gillian, practicing litigation, real estate, environmental, and business law. He then joined his grandfather, J.W. Buddy Benefield, at JWB as vice president and general counsel, learning all aspects of the company from the bottom up, including real estate investments, agricultural and timber operations, real estate development, venture capital, and asset management. He's been with the company now for 19 years, and he's been CEO since 2020. Matt loves hunting, fishing, boating, kayaking, and hiking, and traveling with his family is a big part of his life. They love spending time in the mountains of Colorado and the beaches of Florida. Matt, we are so pleased to welcome you to Club 99.
Excited to see the new members, all the energy and leadership they're going to bring to this club. Also brings a lot of excitement. We're thrilled about that. As many of you know, if you've been here for the last any amount of time, our theme this year is Building Arkansas. And we have been focusing on companies, for-profit, nonprofit, government entities, and individuals who are doing something extraordinary, leaving their mark in interesting ways. Many of these things you might not have known about before. We have featured companies from Jonesboro and Stuttgart and Pine Bluff and the Port of Little Rock and Hot Springs. And so we have really taken a trip around the state showcasing organizations that you may not know who are building something interesting in Arkansas. And today we have another exciting company. This one happens to also be in the Port of Little Rock, and you might not be quite aware that this product is made in just across the way. So let's turn attention to the screen, and we'll introduce you to this particular company.
My name is Anthony Freeman. I'm the plant manager here at Skippy Foods. We make a variety of peanut butter spreads from creamy to super chunk, natural, and also honey flavored. We're located here in Little Rock Port area. We employ about 180 employees. Some of the advantages of being centrally located here in Little Rock: one, there's a lot of technical support, transportation that's around in this area. We have rail system, we have interstates, and we also have an airport that's located within 5 minutes of our facility. From a food manufacturing standpoint, being located in the South, it's a great source for finding your raw materials. Raw peanuts, for example, sugar, all of our raw peanuts come in on rail cars. I don't think we would be able to manage our business or run our business as successfully as we do now without having that rail service here. To a company that's looking to locate, I would say Little Rock area should be one of the top choices. You will definitely find people that are looking for an opportunity. We have not had any situations where we were not able to find people that were looking and willing to work for us.
There you go. So, when you're at the grocery store and have a choice of peanut butter, think about which one you buy, because you're supporting local jobs when you think about Skippy's. So hopefully you think about that particular branch of Hormel Foods right down the road. A few announcements. Today, the women of Rotary are having a happy hour tomorrow at 5 o'clock at the Gadati firm, which is just downtown here. So you're all welcome to be there. There may be an RSVP that's floating around. Yes, there is an RSVP. I don't get the RSVP because I'm never invited to the Women of Rotary for some strange reason, but I hear they have a heck of a time. So I hope you join that after hours for a fun happy hour tomorrow at Natalie Gadati's office. Past President Gadati can throw a party and knows how to make that fun. We do want to say a special thank you to many of you who serve on the programs committee for this club. I don't know how many of you have stopped me this year and said, the programs are killing it, y'all are doing awesome, and I get a lot of that thanks, which is nice, but the truth is there's a whole team of people who are shepherding this process, identifying great programs and pulling those things together. I certainly want to recognize these folks. You saw Mandy a minute ago doing introductions, but she and this team really have been shepherding this entire journey so far, and I am grateful. So would you mind giving a big round of applause to all of those folks? And another group that's in service to the greater good and the mission is the board of the Rotary Club of Little Rock. This is your reminder. We have a meeting right after this powwow. So we'll meet upstairs on the 3rd floor in the green room, and we've got a couple of things to look at, including hearing about the exciting plans of Rotaract around the corner. You heard earlier the district governor is here, and it's always a thrill. So if you're not fully familiar, Rotary remember we talked about Rotary being a global organization, about 1.2 million members and 46,000 clubs across the world. It's divided up into regions, and those regions, and we're in the sort of central United States region, if you want. There's a leadership of that, sort of guiding initiatives. And then that region is divided into districts, and we're in a very specific district as well, and it's a thrill to have the governor of that district here. I wanted to ask Michelle if she wanted to come up and say a few words about what's going on in Rotary and anything she wants to talk about before we get to today's program. So make welcome District Governor Michelle Oglesby.
Hello, 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 everyone. I am so excited to be here. Hey, Regina. Guys, I just want to take time to say thank you to each and every one of you. You guys are rocking it over here with giving back to the youth by starting maybe 3 Interact clubs. That's investment in our youth. And also Rotaract, Chris, encourage them to be the best that they can be, and y'all are doing it. Y'all are people of action. A lot of people talk a lot of talk, but y'all are walking the walk, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting your community with the food bank, the Women First. We own an adoption agency, and that's touching to us when somebody came and spoke a couple of weeks ago about that. But I want to say thank you, because sometimes we don't give enough praises to what you do. And it's each and every one of you, 1, for being a part of this club, and 2, being people of action and service above self. I want to welcome all the new members. Welcome to the family. Rotary International is a huge humanitarian organization that believe in serving, and you guys hit it right on the head. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Mitch, for your leadership. I love looking at the Facebook and seeing what you guys are doing. Keep doing it. Thank you.
We appreciate the Oglesby team being here today and for the support and encouragement. And really that happens, there's a whole district leadership. Some of the other district leaders have been here this year, and we appreciate that support and guidance and encouragement as well. And on to today's program, and sort of continuing the theme the district governor is talking about. Building a better Arkansas involves a lot of ways that we can do that. I can look across this room and I know for a fact how generous many of your companies are. You're at the front of giving, you're at the front of philanthropy, you're at the front of investing in organizations that are doing incredible work. I know and report on many of those endeavors. And individually, this club is extraordinarily generous in terms of philanthropic efforts and community support initiatives. And so we're excited about today's program that can sort of inform you on what's the best way to sort of structure and think about many of those philanthropic areas, and a way to sort of work to your good as well as a community good. So we're excited about the program today. And to do a full sort of introduction of the program, where's Miss Fran? Miss Fran Carter is going to come up and do an introduction for today. So make welcome Miss Fran.
Thanks so much, Mitch. I am really honored to get to introduce my friend and longtime colleague in the nonprofit world, Ashley Coldiron. Ashley Riggin Coldiron is the Chief Development Officer for Arkansas Community Foundation. She oversees all the strategies to promote the acquisition of grant-making assets through gifts, ensures delivery of excellent service to donors, and assists leadership in setting and implementing the foundation's vision. Based in the Little Rock office, Ashley is a native Arkansan. She holds her bachelor's in business from Centenary College and her MBA from UA Little Rock. She has worked in the nonprofit sector since 1992 and is a current board member of the Estate Planning Council of Arkansas. She's worked for Arkansas Community Foundation since January 2015. And I just want to tell you a little bit more about the Community Foundation and Ashley. The Community Foundation works tirelessly to support nonprofits like my nonprofit organization where I work at Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families, and many others. Many of you in this room work with Arkansas Community Foundation across the entire state, and they also provide tremendous guidance for donors. So whichever side of that equation you're on, you should be in partnership with Arkansas Community Foundation. My friend Ashley is a true professional whose focus on philanthropy really benefits all of us across the state, both in the nonprofit sector and for those of us, whether we work in the nonprofit sector or the for-profit sector, who are working as donors and trying to give back to our community. Philanthropy is where she has always focused, and I know many of you know her and love her as much as I do, so please welcome Ashley Coldiron.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I look out on this room and I've got a lot of friends out in the room, so I'm going to be looking at you, and so you'll smile back at me when I'm talking about all this. I do want to say a particular shout out to Heather Larkin, my CEO, who is here, Arkansas Community Foundation CEO, who's here, and then our board member, Jennifer Ronnell, who's back against the wall. So those are, and also Terry Rasco is the stepfather of our board chair. So I feel like we've got all kinds of connections in this room, lots of fund holders in this room too. But I'm excited to be here, and I thank you all very much for having me. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Community Foundation, and this is what we try to do, and you all can see it there. We try to engage people, connect resources, and inspire solutions for building communities. That sounds very similar to what you all do as well, I think. So we're a perfect partnership, Rotary and Community Foundation. A lot of people say when I tell them that I work at the Community Foundation, they say, but what is a community foundation? What does that mean? And my elevator speech is usually that I help people to give away their money in an impactful way and also a tax-wise way. That's my elevator speech. Heather would probably say something much different, much broader than what we do, but that's what we try to do every day. There is a legal definition of a community foundation, which I've got there up on the screen. But what I want to tell you all about is we at Arkansas Community Foundation are very proud because we're within the top 60 of the over 800 community foundations in the nation of assets under management. So our little bitty state, our little bitty Arkansas is more than 60th in all of those. And so we're very proud of that. And we're very proud of what we've done all together. We're very unusual for a community foundation. Many community foundations can be city, they can be a county, they can be just a particular region, but we are the entire state. We cover the entire state. And when we were first chartered, that's what it was laid out, is that we would be a community foundation for the entire state, not just Little Rock. So we work across the state. This is a map of all of our affiliates. So you all might be familiar with our different affiliates statewide. We were talking earlier with the governor, and some of the Rotaries all over the state have funds with Arkansas Community Foundation and doing their good work through the Arkansas Community Foundation. But all of these 29 different affiliate locations, you can think of them as almost like bank branches. We're here in central Little Rock, and then we've got all of these other affiliates out in the state that have their own board of directors, and that they handle all of the local grant making for the counties that they serve. So 29 of those local affiliates serving over 44 counties. Just a few more statistics. The one that I want to point out from this slide is we have over 2,600 charitable funds that are at Arkansas Community Foundation. And so that can be individuals that have charitable funds with us, families, corporations, or nonprofits that have funds with us. And so all of those different funds have a different area of interest or a different mission for their giving. And so we like to support all of them and to help all of them in whatever way we can. One of the ways that we really think is important is to make sure that you're making decisions based on data. And we divide, many years ago, this used to be in a paperback, a magazine-like thing. Now it's all online, it's fabulous. It's arkansasaspire.org, and you all can find that, and it's a data source that actually helps you to look at all different types of indicators across our state and where we're doing really well and where maybe we're not doing as well. And it's an amazing place where you can go and find all kinds of things about Arkansas and where maybe we should be putting more efforts, more money, more volunteer work, and then places where maybe we should be looking to get ideas of how we can do things better in the state. So I wanted to just show you a quick couple of examples from this website. So this might be a shocker for some of you all. I know when we first started looking at some of these numbers, it was for us too. But early literacy rates, I know you all have had other speakers on literacy here at Rotary. Our statewide number is about almost 36% for proficiency in reading at third grade level. At the Little Rock School District, we're at 28%. I want to tell you, I should almost do like a quiz bowl to see who knows where the district that has the biggest proficiency, the most proficiency. Anybody? Anybody? Little Rock? No. Bentonville? Nope. Springdale? Nope. Oh, I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. Nemo Vista. Can anybody find Nemo Vista on a map? Nemo Vista. Thank you, Greg. Greg can tell us where Nemo Vista is. So Little Rock School District, so Nemo Vista has a 73% proficiency rate as compared to Little Rock School District with a 28% proficiency rate. So what can we learn from Nemo Vista to help us here? So that's one of the things we like to look at, one of the things we'd like to learn more about. Another thing, people living in poverty. So all of these data points are sourced from other state and federal sources. So this is actually from the US Census Bureau. On a statewide level, we're at almost 16% people living in poverty in Arkansas. In Pulaski County, we're even a little ahead of that, 16.25% living in poverty. So it's not a good rating. What I was going to tell you about that is the rates range, and I want to give you another couple of examples. 8% in Benton County, 8% of people living in poverty in Benton County, that's Northwest Arkansas. 30% living in poverty in Phillips County, that's Eastern Arkansas. So it ranges quite a bit, county to county, state to state. But these are kind of some of the things that you can look to when you're looking at where to put your money, where would be the best place to put your money, charitable resources, that sort of thing. Every time that we're doing our foundation-directed grant making, we look to this data to see where we should be making our grants for Arkansas Community Foundation. Now, a little storytelling. And I tell you, I could probably go table by table and tell you all a story from one person or more at each one of your tables for the people we work with here in this room. So first off, I'd like to say thank you for being a fund holder at Arkansas Community Foundation. But I want those of you all who don't know us as well, I want to tell you some stories of some people who currently work with us and what they do with how they work with us, what their mission is when they work with us. Sharon Allen, some of you all might remember her. She was quite an amazing woman. She broke a lot of glass ceilings in Arkansas. She worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield for many years. She was quite an amazing leader, manager, everything. She was also on Arkansas Community Foundation State Board. She placed in her estate plans that what she wanted was to make certain that any student that wanted to go to college from, college or a technical school from Yell County be able to do that. So her scholarship that's named after herself and her husband goes towards scholarships for any Yell County senior who wants to go to college or a technical school. So that was her idea for scholarships, what she wanted to do. CJ Duvall, who most of you all know very well, CJ Duvall has the Starting Line Education, I want to make sure that I get the name of this, Starting Line Educational Fund. His charitable fund with us, his scholarship fund, does something very different. It's not a typical scholarship. He partners with 4 very specific nursing schools. And what he does is he scholarships students for their first 60 days for any type of extra fees they need. If they need fees for taking particular tests, if they need food, if they need any type of wraparound services or anything for that first 60 days while they're just getting going and started, that's what he does with his fund. So it's been very successful. So 2 very different approaches, but both giving back to students and giving them a leg up. Catherine Hughes, who's with us today, Catherine and Ron Hughes, when they were planning for retirement, they reached out to Arkansas Community Foundation. They knew what they wanted to do. They have many charities and have supported many charities throughout their working careers, and they knew that they wanted to continue to be able to do that. So they reached out to the Community Foundation. We set up a donor-advised fund. Many of you all probably have heard that word a lot here at the end of the year, but they set up a donor-advised fund, and now Catherine continues to use that donor-advised fund to give to many different charities that she wants to continue to support. Ellen Cockrell on the right, and I didn't see Ellen walk in today, but Ellen is one of your fellow Rotarians. Everybody allowed me to speak their names today. Maybe I should tell Heather that too. Everybody's good with it. I've pre-approached them and they've said that it's okay. So Ellen set up something differently because of what she was going to use to fund it. And so she is using her IRA required minimum distribution. Don't tell her I told you this, but she is over 73. She doesn't look it, but she is. And I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But Ellen uses her IRA required minimum distribution to fund to place assets in her designated fund. A designated fund simply means that she has predetermined charities that she lays out before she ever gets started on her grant making. That's all that means. That's the only difference. But it is a very smart tax-wise way to give. And we'll talk about that more in the future. But really, so Ron and Catherine and Ellen, they both like to give to multiple charities, but they have different ways of doing it that's the most tax advantaged way for them specifically. Field of interest. Bill Booker is also here, who knew Sue and knows Lynn very well and works with them very closely, and we've worked together for a very long time. But I mean, this is exactly what Sue and Lynn told me the first time I met them, is that they had been called by God to help with homelessness in Central Arkansas. And they felt very led to make certain that in Central Arkansas that homelessness was either eradicated or hopefully we would lower it quite a bit. And so they came to Arkansas Community Foundation to ask us who we felt like was doing the best job in homelessness in Central Arkansas. So they've continued to give back to homelessness charities. And Sue, as you all might know, passed away recently, but Lynn continues to give away along with his daughter, Renata. And it's a wonderful field of interest charitable fund that we have with them. Lindsay East, who some of you all might know well, have known well, he died way too early. He was 44 when he passed away in a plane accident. And I want to read to you what his obituary said. I love this. His bright, playful, and giving heart will be deeply missed. He had a passionate drive for healing the planet, helping others, and reminding everyone when they were around him to live, love, and play. He had wishes in his estate plan that we, Arkansas Community Foundation, would continue his giving to necessities within Little Rock, like food security and homelessness and many other things like that. So we continue to do that for him even to this day through a field of interest fund. So both of these families passionate about a specific area of interest, and we hopefully helped them to make that possible. The Jenkins during their lifetime, Lindsay East through his estate plan. Next, many of you, I saw Mitch's precious little grandchild earlier, but many of you all have children and grandchildren who you would like to make certain they knew about giving back to the community. So several of our families that we work with are very intent on making certain their children know how to give back to the community. They want them to see them doing it in action. They want them to be a part of them giving back to the community. So Rachel and Dan Oberste, who Rachel is actually on our board. She has two precious boys, very young, that they're trying to teach how to give back to the community, and they're using their charitable fund at the Community Foundation to do that. Nicole and Darren Williams, and Darren, if he were here, would want me to point out that they are in front of Central High School, of which he was the senior president in 1986, and we can talk about that, except I went to Hall High School, so we won't talk about that. But Darren and his family, Darren and Nicole and their family, they've got grown, launched children who are amazing and wonderful and living not in Arkansas. And so they are giving back to the communities in which they live. So they're using that fund to continue to teach them how to do that. So both families trying to teach their children how to do that and in different ways. So lastly, I want to tell you about corporate giving, because I know many of you all have your own businesses or work for corporations, and corporate giving is something that we love to help people with. I'm going to give you two different examples. Tempest Realty, they are very impressive. Tempest actually started their own nonprofit. So it is a realty company, but they started their own nonprofit called GROW, Generational Resources and Opportunities for Well-Being. They have partnered with a school in North Little Rock which is a very high free and reduced lunch school, very high. And what they are doing is they are funding the children's 529 plans, the individual children's 529 plans, K through 5th grade. They're putting in money every year into those individual children's 529 plans. So by the time they become seniors, they will have a pot of money that they can either go to college with, they can go to technical school with, and now with Arkansas 529, if they don't use all of that, they can make a down payment on a house. So that's what Tempest Realty is doing with their corporate giving fund, Arkansas Community Foundation. HCJ, Hudson Cisney Jones now, but they just go by HCJ, they have an employees' choice fund. So they allow their employees to choose where the grants go, what happens with those grants every time. And then HCJ as a corporation can also get a tax deduction for donating into the fund as well. So 2 different ways to do it, very different. Some organizations that we work with, businesses that we work with, they want to go for a specific mission. Maybe if they're if they're an internet company, if going into STEM education, those types of things, we can set it up however anybody wants to. Now I want to talk about, very quickly, about a couple of tax-wise things that you all might want to think about, since we're right here in the last, 50 days of the year or so. So I want to talk about just 2 specific things. Donor advised funds are wonderful. They're a way that you can, I call it a charitable bank account. They're a way you can place money into a charitable account in the year you need the tax deduction, and then you can recommend grants from that to charities that you love in your own time. So we very often get people that maybe have had a bonus or inheritance, or they have sold a house or sold real estate, that they have some type of liquidity event that they need the deduction in the year they need it, but they don't necessarily want to give it all to their church or all to their alma mater. They want it time to give it away to the charities that they love. And so what they do is they place it with us, and then they recommend grants to give it out over time. So donor advised funds are a really great way to be able to do that and make it a very tax-wise situation for yourself. IRA QCDs. Now, I'm going to warn you all, this is a bit of alphabet soup, but back to Ellen Cockrell, and the way she does things. With IRAs, we are seeing a huge increase in this type of giving because the standard deduction has gone up so incredibly, and most often, I think it's less than 10% now, itemize on their taxes. And so many people will take the standard deduction every year. So many of our donors who are over the age of 70 and a half will use their IRAs that might be a bit overfunded, to be able to do some of their charitable giving from. And at age 70 and a half, I'm going to say this 2 different ways. At age 70 and a half, donors can use their IRAs up to $108,000 if they want to give away to a qualified charity. They can do that through a QCD, a qualified charitable distribution, to the charity of their choice, tax-free. I'm going to go back to something 1 minute. So if you have an IRA and you want to pull money out of that IRA, you have 2 choices. You pay tax on that IRA, or you give it to a charity. Those are your only 2 choices. So this way, what you can do, at age 70 and a half, you can make that qualified charitable distribution. At age 73, when you are told you must take a required minimum distribution, you can utilize a part of that to do a qualified charitable distribution. If you want to choose various charities that you'd like to give that to, you could open up a designated charitable fund at the Community Foundation to do that with. So it's very helpful. I'm going to show you a couple of graphics because I'm a better visual learner than a reader. But so again, let's just say you're in the 25% tax bracket, which If any of you all are in the 25% tax bracket, congratulations, because I don't think anybody's got a 25% tax bracket anymore. But with the IRA required minimum distribution, if you take it for yourself, you will pay taxes on it, then you have the other to be able to give away to charities that you love or do things with. So let's say you've got $4,000 that you want to utilize of your required minimum distribution to give to charity. If you take that for yourself, you're going to pay the tax on it, and then 25% of $4,000, pay tax on it. $3,000 is what you'll have to give away to the charities you love. However, if you use a qualified charitable distribution, and you either do a designated fund at the community foundation, or you could do it directly to your church or directly to any of these amazing organizations that are sitting around the room beside you at the tables. You could do a direct qualified charitable distribution to any of those qualified nonprofits, and 100% of your money goes to those nonprofits. It's a great way to give to the charities that you love. So I would ask that you all think about that in your planning going forward. And a lot of these nonprofits are happy to talk to you all about that if you want to talk to them about that. So I have not seen Mitch's little sign, but we are open for questions. I told him I might get through a little bit early. Anybody have any questions that I can answer?
Raise your hand, we got a microphone that'll help. Anybody have a question? Hands. Yes, sir, right here.
Actually, I think it's pretty incredible that the Arkansas rates so highly with Arkansas Community Foundation. I read something the other day, and I'm hesitant to say where we rank, but that Arkansas ranks very, very highly in per capita giving. Do you have any numbers on that?
I don't have that number off the top of my head, but that has always been exactly accurate. When I was at Children's Hospital back in 1992, what happened was we would do campaigns, and we would do campaigns all the time within the hospital. And who would give the very most was the janitors and were the people that were taking care of the rooms every night, because they saw what was happening inside that hospital and they knew they wanted to give back. So people are not generous because they are wealthy. People are generous because they have chosen to be generous, and a lot of times they have been taught to be generous. So I think that's exactly accurate.
Ashley, thank you for being here today. I'd kind of a combined question. One is, I noticed for nonprofits to get connected to this foundation and that giving, I did notice that a lot of them ask for, like, you go through an executive. Could you explain a little bit of the process? And then part of that was that a lot of the requirements were that you be located in the county of where that location is. Is there a chance that if you serve that community, that would also qualify for some of those? And just share a little bit about how your grants work to these nonprofits around the state.
Yeah, I think that you're probably speaking about our foundation-directed giving, and a lot of times that's called Giving Tree. Is that what you're speaking of? Yes. Okay, so Giving Tree is what we call our unrestricted giving around the state. And those 29 different affiliates that I was talking about, those all have Giving Tree applications. If you serve that county, you can apply within that county. You can do that. And Pulaski County does have a Giving Tree, but we don't have a board that makes those decisions. We actually make those decisions within our foundation staff right now. But Pulaski County also has a small Giving Tree as well. But yes, that you can apply, and we have different cycles which you can apply, and we would love to have you apply. Another way, we have a lot of donor advised funds that, we talked about Catherine and Ron's donor advised fund. Ellen has a designated fund, but Catherine and Ron's, like their donor advised fund. If you have, so say for instance, Sonia or Leanna came to me, well, let's just talk about the one that we just did together. So Sonia and Leanna came and they said, we've got this new program for med camps that we want to introduce, and it's for brain trauma patients, what did they call it? traumatic brain injury, I'm sorry, this is their game, not mine, but traumatic brain injury and deaf camps. They want to add both of those to the med camps at Aldersgate. And so what we did was we sent that out to several donor advised funds that either had granted to organizations that had either served deaf people that could not hear, or that had some type of medical giving or something like that, healthcare giving in their past. So we put it in front of those donor advised funds, and this Thursday, you all are gonna be getting some grant money. Yeah, so we do that as well. So we do some matchmaking is what we call it, and Kelly, we've done that before. Lots of us have done it before, but yeah.
So donor advised funds are an incredible resource for nonprofits. However, not every small shop nonprofit is very familiar with the restrictions on DAFs and navigating tax code and tax law, because there are restrictions. Does the Community Foundation help smaller nonprofits navigate those restrictions?
Yes, definitely. I'll give you an example, and specific to Wolf Street. So say, for instance, when you all are having your gala, and you all have a table, and let's say it's $1,000 per table, but somebody wants to use their donor advised fund to purchase that table. What I will do is I will reach out to you and say, how much of that table is actually charitable and how much of it they're going to receive benefit back from. And you'll tell me it's about $100, that's what they're going to receive at the table with the dinner. And then what I'll say back to you is I'll say, no problem, that donor advised fund recipient can bifurcate and they can do a grant of $900 to Wolf Street. And then they, out of their checkbook, will do the other 100. So that's the way that we work with nonprofits a lot, and just trying to navigate those rules and restrictions around donor advised funds.
So I don't have a question, but Suzanne Payton and I from the airport have a thank you to the Arkansas Community Foundation. So thankfully the government shutdown is over after 43 days. The federal employees have not gotten paid yet. We're hoping that some of those checks will start very soon. We're wanting all of them to start, but we're very optimistic by the end of the week that we'll have an update on that. But we still have conditions that are dire for some employees. So as we were going through the end of the shutdown, there were employees who needed food. And with that, Heather Larkin heard about the needs on a Saturday afternoon, and she opened an account because with the restrictions on federal funds, we could not take the money through the airport. She, on a weekend, opened an account, and she and Ashley have been working. And thankfully, because of that account and many of you in this room, we had 139 employees who had groceries last weekend. And so we appreciate you all for all that you do, and especially in a crisis situation.
Shane, I've got some news I need to share with you after this that you'll be happy about. Oh, it was a donor this morning wants to give a little more, a lot more.
Excellent
Greg, don't ask
presentation.
me anything about leadership or anything, or say anything
No.
terrible.
Excellent presentation,
Thank
thank
you.
And I apologize, a little bit of a counting question.
I wouldn't
your early
think anything
slide-
less from you.
On your 900 million assets under management, you gave away 67 million in grants. That's like 7.4%.
Yeah,
The rule of
that's
thumb-
good, fast math.
The rule of thumb is usually 4 to 5% for endowments. So are some trying to get rid of the money, or are your investments just that good? Or
Yeah.
could you speak to how you're able to give away so much?
Thank you. So what Greg was speaking of is many of our funds that we have are endowments, and they receive a 4% spend rate annually. Because what happens is when they're invested, we want them to grow over time so that whatever that they have to give away has the same buying power over the years. And so so a lot of our funds are invested. But then we have other funds that are quasi-endowed that actually a lot of people have gone to because they can make much larger grants. So they can be fully invested with us. At $100,000, you can have a quasi-endowment, can be fully invested with us, and you can grant out every bit of it over time, but it is invested, so it does have the possibility of growth and possibility of risk also, but possibility of growth. So that's why the difference in the amount. Okay, thank you all so much. I did not know Heather Larkin was going to be here today, so I would like to take a point of personal privilege and for everybody to congratulate her on her retirement and to wish her well.
Hold on a second, we want to give you something. Hold on a second. Just hang on. Thank you, Ashley. We appreciate you helping us better understand the opportunity. It's impressive, again, that 2,600 different funds, people who have invested in making an impact to build a better Arkansas, doing that through the foundation, and that's an incredible thing to know that that work is happening. I appreciate that one of your slides was around literacy. Rotary International, one of the pillars of Rotary International is to make an impact in education, and often in our local efforts, we translate that into work toward volunteer programs at Dunbar, which we're excited about and that we love to do, and many of them have been around literacy programs, and the Rotary Club of Little Rock has been significantly invested in changing the arc of literacy in our community, and so we appreciate you showing that. One of the things that we have, as the Club 99 has been offered or asked to do, is to partner with the state of Arkansas to help literacy efforts with the young men and young women who are incarcerated in the juvenile justice system. And they need books for their particular libraries because they have their own school district within the juvenile justice system, and they need extra books to sort of help facilitate a literacy program. So this club is using some of its funds. Some of your dues are being used. Some of the information from or some of the dollars from the foundation are being used to buy books across the state for the different juvenile justice centers. And in some of those books will be a book jacket recognizing you and the Community Foundation as thanking you and the Community Foundation for being a partner here so that they know when they are graduated and liberated from those programs that they have people who are pulling from them, supportive of them, invested in them, and that they have a community behind them. So we're excited to recognize you as well as a partner in that journey. So thank you. Thank you both. We appreciate you being here. As a reminder, next week, you are welcome to come, but we won't be here. But you can come. If you're just regular here attending, we will be taking the week off for Thanksgiving, but we will be back in force on December 2nd. Another incredible program. You'll be hearing from William Burgess. His company, Power Technology, based here in Central Arkansas, is building, as we talk about building Arkansas, the laser technology they are building to change the arc of healthcare, cancer treatments, and others is an incredibly interesting piece of technology that we want you to know about. We are excited about that. Reminder, board members, we have a meeting, third floor this time, right after this, and we hope you all have a blessed Thanksgiving. You are dismissed. We'll do a photo right quick.